What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of From the Logo Podcast. We got Gifted Hoops in the building. Bama, the honey pack connoisseur himself, myself Hayes in the building.
And ZZ is not here right now because he's currently off of a honey pack.
Yes,
Fun fact.
That is facts.
Fun fact.
ZZ may be here sooner rather than later. Fellas, it's been a wild week in the NBA. It's funny that, like, as crazy as this NBA season has been, it's never really failed to bring drama, storylines, whatever. We're going to get to play in, talk a lot of hoops. But I figure let's start off with some of the other things. So Coach Budenholzer was fired by the Phoenix Suns a couple of days ago. I think was that just yesterday?
That was literally yesterday, bro.
Man, it's crazy. There's so much stuff going on. This follows Taylor Jenkins being fired earlier, as well as another coach with a winning record. Mike Malone was fired. So it's like this thing where, like, even winning basketball games and having a really good record does not save you from your job possibly being on the line. Fellas, how do we feel about these winning coaches being fired, or what precedents that sets in the NBA?
Whew. I mean, this is a season I'm not gonna forget, just because of how many coaches have been fired. I mean, it's happening rapid fire. The Suns doesn't really surprise me as much, but I feel conflicted about it because Budenholzer to me didn't do a good job at maximizing his players, in my opinion. But at the same time, it's like he was asking Bradley Beal to try to lock in on defense because someone had to do it. The roster's terrible, and no one has that, capability to do that at a high level. So he was trying to get that out of Bradley Beal, because to me, if it's between Booker and KD, Beal in that third option role should be able to, have that potential. Because in the past, people honestly forget this, on the Wizards with John Wall, he was a defender.
Yeah,
with John Wall,
he was a pretty solid defender.
Yeah, so I feel like Bud was just trying to get more of that out of him. I think specifically bringing up Drew Holiday maybe triggered Bradley Beal, because it's like, why are you telling me who to play like? I myself. So I get the ego there, but at the same time, it's like, dog, you making $250-something million, bro. You chilling? You okay? He just asked you to buy in on some defensive slides, bro. That's it. Yeah. So. Yeah, man, I feel the way. Vogel is another coach. Like, this Suns team, year after year after year, coach fire Monty, bring in Vogel
in a row, firing the coach.
Yeah, and my biggest thing with you, Hayes, right, is winning is hard. Like, people understand, it is hard to win. So expecting an instant championship when you have nothing to show for it last year is crazy to me. We all looked at this Suns roster and said, okay, maybe they're in the playoffs. Cool. Probably a first round exit, right? We said this. I said they damn near might not make the playoffs. I was wrong. They ain't make the play in. You know what I'm saying? So like, I feel a way about it. I feel like these teams have to understand that winning is a process. You cannot skip the process. Otherwise, you wind up paying extra coaches years and years gone because you're just firing people. You have to build a team. This is about a team, not these like 3-man rosters with no depth, no defense, all this. You got to actually build a team. So it's frustrating for me, Hayes, honestly.
Yeah. Bam, I know you call yourself more of a casual. Even though I think you're a step up from a casual, but how do you feel about these coaches that are winning and still losing their jobs?
I mean, shit, Hayes, you watch the NFL, man, not for long. I mean, that's just pro sports. Once it's a standard, like, and a lot of the times that the common fan that sit at home, we don't know the standard, right? The owner is just not going to be like, hey, Hayes, this is the standard, what we looking for. And if this coach don't do it, you know what I mean? We coming up off of. I think a lot of times, Ox said it on Chill and Chill, man. A lot of the times these teams, they lost by way of being too impatient. A lot of the times it take patience, bro. Even if you do make the championship and lose, right? It still take patience to simmer down and assess your team realistically year after year. How can we make sure that this is sustainable? How can we get back with this squad? What additions can we make with the squad that we already have now that will boost us? Instead of losing in 6 games, maybe we pull this out. You know what I mean? And a lot of the times they go with the moves that it's just sped up. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. KD is a phenomenal basketball player, but I just feel like where that team was at, bro, you don't really need Yeah, and then not only did they add KD, they added Bradley Beal, dog. Like I said, I'm gonna say it again. For them to be in the finals in 2022, I believe, for them to pretty much get rid of that whole team, just to
They
get
blew it
2
up.
players. Yeah, it was, you know, the Nuggets. Now, I'll say that kind of shocked me, but a lot of people say he lost the locker room. His coaching style wasn't fitting what they was trying to do going forward, all that, yada, yada, yada. But, I mean, shit, bro, 2023 was just a hip and a skip ago. Like, this can't just be solved over the off-season conversation. You know what I mean? Like, I think about it like in a situation like that, especially with the Nuggets. Like,
yeah,
pretty much a lot of your pieces are still there. A lot of your core pieces are still there. You had to fire him. Like, this just couldn't be like, hey, man, year in review. You know what I mean? Like, you just had to get rid of him, you know, after he was just in the finals last year. Some of these other teams like the Bulls, Memphis Grizzlies, even, like, I understand why they come up off their coaches, because they kind of been at just a certain level. You know what I mean? Like, they need a coach to get them over this plateau where they at. But the Suns and the Nuggets, man, like, I don't, that shit is wild, dog. I don't know. Like, I don't know what they was thinking. I really don't.
That brings us to a good point based off what you said there, Bama, because the question that I really want to have this conversation go towards is that somebody always has to be made to fall, man. You know, sometimes it's players, you know, sometimes it's coaches, rarely it's the GM, because GM's usually the one making the decision. In a case like that we're seeing now, are teams starting to blame the coaches more when honestly GM should probably be holding themselves more? Like the Suns, like that wasn't like Coach Budenholzer wasn't even there when you put this team together. We all saw the flaws in this team when you put it together. Like Coach Budenholzer is a solid coach, not a great coach, but he's a solid coach. He's won a title, right? Are they blaming the coaches where really they should be looking at ownership or looking at the GM, looking at those things rather than making pulling the trigger on the coach?
I 100% agree, man. But like someone has to take the fall, and more times than not, it's coaches, because coaches aren't making $250 million, right? These coaches are not running the organization from top to bottom. Their only job is to coach a basketball team. And to some people, that's more replaceable than the guy who gets the job to actually trade for players and do X, Y, or Z. I think the Denver Nuggets situation is very interesting, Hayes, and I'm hoping that this can start a revolution in the NBA, because they fired their coach and their GM same time.
Yeah.
Same time, right? We rarely see that. I want to see that become more of a thing, because I see way too many teams where the GM gets 5 or 6, like they get way more leeway than a coach is going like this. That Suns GM is still right there. Nothing changing for that Suns GM. So to me, it's just odd. But especially in the case of the Suns, where coming in, we fired our 2 last head coaches with just a year. So now it's like, are we going to come in now, and if we underperform, do that? I understand they definitely did not expect to not make the play-in, but seeing how the roster play, it can't just be the coach's fault, bro. It can't. Like, that to me is the excuse to not hold yourself accountable for not constructing a good basketball roster.
Damn, how you feeling?
I agree. You only can blame the coach so much, unless it's the Warriors. I can blame Steve Kerr a lot. I watched him. I could blame him a lot. But a lot of the times, you can't really blame the coaches, especially a lot of times with situation. I don't know, with the Nuggets, it's interesting. I feel like you couldn't blame the coach with the Suns situation. It's hard to blame the coach right there, because he trying to figure out what can he do with what he have. Like, when they went to the championship, they was real good on defense. To get Bradley Beal, you gave all of that away. So, of course, I'm thinking 2 + 2 is 4. As any coach would think, okay, you're the last man here. I'm not going to ask Booker to do it. This was his team first. Kevin Durant got here second. Of course, we want him to score. So guess who's the odd man out? Bradley Beal. Can you be that for us? They look at him as like, bro, you an idiot. And it's just like, no, he's being a coach. Like, he's thinking like, hey, where are we lacking? Defense. This is what we need. if anything, that's him being a good coach. But like you said, the owner's not gonna blame themselves. They got all the money. What owner look like besides Jerry Jones? I think he might be the only owner with antics that do shit like that. But no owner's just gonna sit up here and just be like,
"It was my fault, man."
Man, I know y'all just wasted all of this money coming to games, $400 tickets, man, and I just pissed it away, man. My bad.
It's on me. It's on me. Right? Like
my fault. Knicks should be better. I got you.
Right.
My fuck up.
No,
I do think that some owners, especially owners that want that focus, like Steve Ballmer, I think is an owner that would care so much about winning that he'd do something, right? Like there are certain owners that care a lot about actually winning, not just making money. But then there are some owners that are too hands-on and they like the Shebas, like with the Suns, like they were willing to spend tons of money, which is great. That money was not a factor or limitation for them getting to where they need to get to, but the fact is that they made dumbass decisions. They were stupid in what they did, and the
extremely flashy,
empowered, right? So it's like it's a balance, and that's why running an organization and a successful organization over years, so much has to go right. Right? You have to have an owner that's willing to spend, or that is at least smart basketball wise. You got to have a president of basketball operations or a GM that is ahead of the game contract wise, talent evaluation wise, bringing in the right coaches, the right staff, all that. And then you have to have the players that execute that. Like it's so much that can go wrong. And it seems like for example, Russ was made to blame of the shit that went on with the Lakers. Was he somewhat? Yes. Should have they changed other things? Yeah, they eventually did, right? There are some that the coaches are made to blame for it. It's just it usually is just deeper than what people try to make it out to be. And I think that's what it comes down to, man.
And that's my problem, right? Like you can point to multiple areas, but for them, when it's time to make a change, the first change is always the coach. You rarely see them say, you know what? This GM puts you in a bad spot, so we're going to fire this GM and keep you as head coach and see how you do. No, it's normally the coach is fired. They then have the same losing season once or twice or three times. Then they fire the GM. The GM gets all the leeway. And I think the main reason is the owner has a different relationship with the GM because he's hiring you to basically watch over his baby, his team, right? Like he's paying you all this money to make these choices. And he probably feels less confident in trying to find a new person. The reason why it's so easy to fire a coach is because the owner can just say, okay, GM, find your new head coach.
Yeah.
There's less work for them to do, you know?
Absolutely. It's gotta, I mean, and that's why it's this thing where I think, I know we were in the player empowerment movement. The player empowerment movement led to a lot of like coaches being fired because you were empowering players and things like that. Like we just have to get back to the place of balance. And
Absolutely.
I think, and that's what it has to be. And I think when you look at the really good organizations around the league, they have that. Cavs have that. The OKC Thunder have that. The Spurs have had that over the course of their career. We know they didn't make the playoffs this year, but like they're still looked at as a good organization. The Heat have that. So, you know, you got to really be that organization that has balance.
Question.
Yeah, go ahead.
What would have happened if the GM would have said, "Hey, Kevin, we can't bring Bradley Beal over here. This is really going to cut our hand if we do this." Like, what would have happened? Like, would he just would have left? Like, what was that the whole situation behind Bradley Beal coming over?
I like that question. So Durant and Booker wanted Bradley Beal on the team. They were both openly recruiting Bradley Beal. I'm pretty sure they told their ownership, hey, like we would love to have them on, there. I think the pressure of them maybe leaving or being upset at you not getting Bradley Beal is what made them overall make this move. But realistically, these are athletes who are getting paid a lot of money. If you say no, it might hurt on the back end, but you're still in control, technically speaking. The problem is we live in a player empowerment league where regardless of that, you're so afraid to lose these guys in free agency, you succumb to whatever the star says. But then when it goes bad, it's not on the star, it's on you. That's the problem.
It's a fact. So
tough, man.
I mean, yeah, it's unfortunate, but that's the way the cookie crumbles in the NBA right now. Eventually, like with all things in the NBA, eventually it'll shift to another direction, and we'll see what happens at that point in time, man. But
Oh,
Yeah,
Hayes, real quick before you go, there's also a breaking news thing that I don't know if you were going to say this next, but have you heard the news about David
Griffin?
Yes, David Griffin getting fired, and then more importantly, them bringing in Joe Dumars to trade Zion. Like, that's the thing that could happen this offseason. I'm not sure if that was on the docket, but like, that's breaking news to me. So
no, you're fact, and I did kind of overlook that, but yeah. So David Griffin was fired by the Pelicans. He's GM there. Most notably, he's the GM that was very reluctant to trade Zion Williamson. He did not want to trade Zion. He still believed in Zion. He didn't want to give up on him. That's kind of why you've seen the start-stop rumors around Zion. Like, hey, we can move. Everybody, including Zion, is available. Then, not like he was also attached to Trey Murphy in these guys. So now bringing in Joe Dumars, bringing in a new GM in general who doesn't have that attachment, it is, rumored to be because they do want to open up and really make some significant moves with the Pelicans. And I'll throw it back to you, Gifted. Do you think that's the right move?
Okay, so in my opinion, I think it's fair to criticize the job that he's done. But at the same time, like, it's so hard for me, Hayes, because of any team, this Pelicans team has been cursed the most, right? The move to get a player like DeJounte Murray, in my opinion, was to get a guy that, okay, if Zion is hurt, you can give him more touches to be effective as a point guard and maybe get some things there. And then maybe you see how the fit works with Zion. Now, me personally, I wasn't a fan of it. I just don't think his game with Brandon Ingram and Zion, I just feel like there's only one basketball. Like, there's a lot going on, and I don't really think he's that great of a player to me. But he didn't even get a chance to see if it would work because he tore his ACL, came back, and tore his Achilles. So to me, it's like year after year after year, you're dealing with so many injuries. They have had to find ways to still be effective, and their closest way of doing that was when they made the playoffs with BI many years ago when they played the Suns, and then also last year where Zion was a couple seconds away from maybe making the playoffs, beating the Lakers, right? Like, these are things that happen. So to me, I think the Pelicans just need to like revamp everything. And I think them firing the new GM is the way to get themselves in that situation in a new direction. Because there's just a lot with that team that's super unlucky, but you have to change something at some point.
So you think they should come up off of Zion?
I feel very ill-equipped to talk about this, and I say that because Zion for me is one of my favorite players. I watch Zion and I really see like a star there, but the injuries and him not being available is tough. Like, I think if this is any other player, we're saying, okay, he probably needs to go to a new different team. But I have this fear that when they move Zion, I feel like Zion is going to have his healthiest season. He's going to be in shape, but most people, they're going to be like, damn, how could the Pelicans trade him away? But we're not seeing that Zion in New Orleans right now until this team gets eliminated, until they're like at the bottom, right? Like, we have not seen them have the Zion injury luck. I haven't seen it yet. So if they want to trade him because of that, I can't say they're wrong. I can understand it.
I mean, his healthiest season was 2023-24, where he played 70 games. And still was not like they still didn't have the success that they hoped for, and he still wasn't healthy when it mattered the most. Like, it's such a gamble, right? Because to give this point, you can move off of Zion, and then if he stays healthy, we know what Zion can be when he's healthy. There's no question about it. He's one of the most physically dominant players in the game of basketball when he's healthy. The biggest question is, can you bet on that health? And that's what's scary. I don't know if there's ever been a player to have the number of injuries that Zion has over their first 5 years in the league and ever stay healthy after that. He may be the first, but go ahead, Bama.
But y'all don't think he looked okay? I get it. His healthiest year, he played the 70 games. But y'all don't think this year was his best looking in shape year? Like no. this past season,
for the first 5 games of the season, it was. Then no.
But I'm saying in general, though, it looked like he was down weight. He was a lot slimmer in the face.
Okay.
He was a lot slimmer in the face. So I really felt like this time around, he took his conditioning and his getting in shape serious this go around. You know what I mean? Like, are we banking on him not doing that? I guess you could probably say that because once a fat boy, always a fat boy. But I was starting to like how he was starting to look. I felt like he was really starting to take his attrition serious.
I do think,
How concerning is it that he did this? Was his most serious season, taking his condition seriously, and he still only played 30 games.
That's the problem for me. Right? Like it's just hard because it's like I do believe Zion is trying to make those steps, but there's literally nothing you can do about your athlete getting injured in spite of that, right? Even if his mindset has changed or tweaked, him still getting hurt just adds to another wasted year for the Pelicans. And they've had to develop a roster where, okay, these guys can be good on paper when Zion's there, but when he's not there, they can also be good. That's too much to balance if you can't trust your best player to be there.
Yeah.
But he's also really good. So it's like, I don't know if like, it's such a lose-lose situation to me because maybe you do trade Zion, right? And you get multiple good assets and those assets are really good for you. And maybe he never gets healthy and you win, or he does. And now you look like fools, right? Like you have to make a decision. So I understand them wanting to change something up because again, stagnation is the opposite from what you really want. You got to figure something out.
We'll see, man. It hates to have this conversation about somebody who literally is 24 years old, and we should be talking about them heading into the prime of their career. And instead, we're like, hey, can they even stay healthy enough to play? That's the crazy part about all this.
Yeah, man. Like, listen, I still remember the games visually from peak Zion because as good as Zion was at the end of this season, his sophomore season to me is still one of the crazy seasons I've ever seen. He was shooting like 65% from the field flat. Like I can count on two hands how many bad inefficient scoring games he had that entire year. And that wasn't even the best Zion can reach. And that's like an all-time season. So to me, it's like we got to see Zion get more time to really gel. But again, I don't know, Bama. If you're going to be hurt that much, what can I do? How do I win that?
I just feel like, bro, like I said, I'm a little step above a casual. But from what I saw, the first few times, even though he was balling out, he still was just fat, bro, for how he plays, for how explosive he is. Unfortunately, dog, he's too fat. He's not a Kenny Lofton. Kenny Lofton is a more craftsman. He don't play above the rim. But how explosive Zion is, he can't be a fat man, unfortunately. So a lot of the first few times, it was just, me myself personally just thought it was just, bro, you just too big for how you're trying to play, big dog.
Yeah.
So he comes back this year. I know he had an unfortunate injury, but right before they shut the team down, the nigga, he looked
great. He looked unstoppable.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
And that's why I said I could always be wrong because, like I said, if I was a GM, I would have got fired because I thought Lonzo was finna be the next Magic.
I thought Lonzo was gonna be nice.
You know what I'm saying? Like I was so.
I ain't see Magic. I thought he'd be nice.
Cle Anthony early, Ron Baker. It was
Cle Anthony early.
That's
Cle Anthony
back,
early.
Bro.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm going back, bro.
That's
like yes, bro. Like I would have messed up because I thought he was finna. So that's why I was just saying maybe I'm just like too high on Zion, but I just really thought, bro, he was. I don't want them to come up off of him because this is how I feel about it, right? With the Pelicans. I know he does have injuries right now.
Yeah.
I feel like you have somebody that can be a star. So I feel like that's the light at the end of the tunnel right here. Even though he do have the injuries, we pretty much got our blueprint right here, right? We just have to see, can he stay healthy? But I was like, at least give him one more year. Put it that way. For me, give him one more year, especially after what I saw before they shut the team down. I feel like just one more year, dog.
You know what? Actually, Bama, I'm my answer now. I will give Zion one more year. And the reason why is this is also the first year where now they said, okay, we're trading Ingram. We're not going to try to make both of you work. Both of you guys are hurt now. This is fully your team, full stop, with a bunch of wings around you. And we saw how it looked at the end of the season when they really had nothing to play for and they were still super injured. And we saw them hooping. So to me, I would give Zion at least one more year. And then at that point, if it still doesn't work out, I'll trade you then. But, you know.
Another reason why that's smart, and that's something that we may talk about when we get closer to the offseason, because a lot of teams have lined themselves up to have free agent capital in the summer of 2026. And if a team strikes out, Zion could be a hell of a consolation prize for a team that strikes out on the free agent target if they need to do so. So, Gifty, you just cooked on that one, man. So, Bam, I guess Bam originally asked the question. So, yeah, good point on that one. Give it another year. If it don't work out, you can pivot the season where it seems like a lot of teams are going to be looking to try to acquire a star anyway. Any other thoughts on the Zion situation before we switch gears here?
Yeah, the last thought that I had. So they flirted with trading him last year for the Wemby draft because of their high draft pick, and they were like, okay, do we trade Zion to Charlotte for like the number 2 pick and do this and that, right? And I remember there was like a lot of dialogue about yes, they should, no, they shouldn't, yes, they should, no, they shouldn't. My biggest thing is independent, if you trade him or not, get the value back. If you're trading Zion now and you're not getting a high value, I'm keeping it for 1 more year. I'm not just going to like throw him. I'm going to get value back for what I believe he could have been. At least that's my job in trading Zion. You don't move a player like that for absolutely nothing.
Exactly. Yeah, you don't move Zion for regardless of the injury, any of that, you do not move him just for the sake of moving him and get nothing in return. You get something back for that.
Especially 24 as well, man. You can't do that.
All right, play in. Y'all want to start in the Western Conference? Y'all want to start in the East?
I think East is a good start.
East is a good start. All right, let's start in the East. Let's go with the matchups that we have tonight. Orlando, Atlanta. First game tonight in that Eastern Conference. How you guys feeling about this matchup? Who do you think has the advantage? How you guys feeling?
I think this is going to be a banger matchup. I think the Hawks have the advantage simply because they've been in the play-in more than a lot of these other teams, period. Like they are used to playing do or die, must win basketball. So I think they're going to have the advantage. However, in terms of like schematically and also talent-wise, obviously Orlando's going to have Paolo and Franz, which is a tough cover for anybody. But their offense still has not been great. So how that looks in a single game elimination where the Hawks can just get hot, even with all the injuries we've seen this team have, that Hawks team still has a ton of firepower with Trae Young at the helm. So how that plays out for a game should be very, very fun. We have a high-powered offense going up against a high-powered defense. Both teams are riddled with injuries, so I don't know who wins. I'm excited for it.
Bim?
I gotta go with the home state, man. Orlando Magic, bro. I'm gonna ride with them. Hopefully, Paolo feeling a little better since his injury. I think that's gonna be the key to their success. And Jonathan Isaacs, bro. Like I'm high on Jonathan Isaacs too, bro. Like every time I see him, he always do the right thing. So I gotta go with the Orlando Magic in this matchup. It's gonna be a good one though. Ice Trae been having a hell of a year, dog. I know he can shoot that peel, like you said, at any given moment. If he get hot, it'll be tough. But I don't know. I like the Magic in this matchup.
I like the Magic too. I'm there with you on the Orlando Magic. I look at this Magic team, and I think that the defense is what's going to get them over the hump. I think that they have that extra level defensively that the Atlanta Hawks don't have, and I also think that they've gotten very close to getting back to the team that we thought they were going to be coming into the playoffs. They played extremely well over the last 20 games of this season, and I think that momentum is going to help carry them over the Atlanta Hawks team. I trust more in them. I trust more in what they have. And while Trae is great, Dyson Daniels is great. I'll probably feel a little bit different about this game if they had Jalen Johnson, but he's not healthy, so that really changes a lot for me. So I think the Orlando Magic are going to be the ones to pull this one out.
I don't think that's crazy. I think the devil's advocate thing I'll probably use for the Hawks is because Johnson is gone, Trae Young has more control of the offense, and they've just been a really firepower team. Also, the acquisition of LeVert has been tremendous for them. He's been playing some really good ball for them. Also got to say, we're just seeing a difference in how they play in multiple different ways. Dyson, again, has been a terrific defensive player as well. I just think even with what they have, they still have the firepower offensively that their floor is going to be higher than the Magic's offensively. It's just a matter of, are they going to be able to cover them consistently with the amount, especially with their rookie Zachary, who no one's talking about, has been playing some of his best hoops to also close the year out too. So it's gonna be fun to watch. I think the Magic are definitely favored for sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Hawks do beat them because again, it's one game. Like high-powered offense in one game, all you need is one fake shooting game and you up. You know,
you're not wrong there. The thing I think about it is that Trey would have to be damn near perfect, in my opinion.
Yep.
He would have to be damn near. And let's be clear, we've seen crazy ass games before from him to where Trey's gone completely nuclear. So let me ask you this, Gifted.
Yeah.
Who else? Because even if Trey scores 40, that's not necessarily going to be enough. Who would have to step up as well for the Atlanta Hawks for them to pass the Orlando Magic?
The main guy I'm looking at. Oh, sorry, two guys. Ricochet and LeVert. And I've seen Karis LeVert on some random nights, I'll never forget when he was on the Cavs, when they walked into Boston and him and Donovan Mitchell combined for 80 points. They had twin 40s on the road, right? I've seen LeVert play in big games and have that. Also, he's a shooter, so if he is making threes, it changes the scope of the whole court. But those are my main two guys. If those two guys are productive scorers, Trae Young can still be impactful as a passer and playmaker. But I do think this is a bad matchup for the Hawks because of the length and the size that they're going to have over them. So that's why it's such a compelling matchup for me.
The only way this junk could be like a legit good matchup if Trae Young can get that pick and oop going with Clint Capella, but that shit damn near going to be impossible.
I think he's out.
I think he's out. Yeah.
But even then, even if he wasn't, it's going to be damn near impossible, bro. Like the defense, I like. To me, I sway forwards with who play better defense. I know, like,
I feel you on
sometimes
that.
with offense, it can be better. Like if you got a Luka or somebody like that, but like in matchups like this, I just go with the better defense, dog. And I just really don't see, like, outside of what Hayes said, Trae Young just turning into Steph Curry. Like I don't see them like really pulling that shit out, dog.
I can't wait to see it, man.
It's gonna be a good game though.
Yeah. I do think I would heavily lean towards the Magic if they still had Jalen Suggs, but they have other guys. I mean, I've been impressed with what Anthony Black has done this season as well. They just have a bit more depth, and they have Franz and Paolo. So in the non-Trae Young time, one of them will be out there, which should help them out. I just have not been impressed with their offensive floor overall. Like, your offense should not be 29th in the league bad with those two guys in a lineup. And I think that might really bite you in a single game where it's like, if we're not making threes and they are, we're cooked.
That's facts.
We're going to see, though. We're going to see for sure.
All right. Let's move into the next Eastern Conference. Miami Heat, Chicago Bulls. This one's going to go down tomorrow.
Let's go, Hayes. Yeah.
I try not to talk Bulls on here, so I'm going to turn it over to y'all first, and then I'll fill in where I need to. Who wants to take it away first?
I like the Heat, man.
Okay.
I like the Heat. I don't know, man. These one of them matchups where, I don't know, like, it's not super attractive to me. I'm sorry, Hayes. I know it's your team and all. These more like gritty teams right here. But let's be honest. Out of this matchup right here, whoever win this matchup, they play either Cleveland or Boston.
Well, first we'd have to face off against the loser of Orlando and Atlanta, and then whoever wins that goes into the AC.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
And they'll play Cleveland, not Boston.
Yeah, I'm saying either one of those two, but I mean, it's nice. I mean, we could just judge who go win, but I don't think they're gonna do nothing after this. I'll go Heat just to piss Hayes off and see why the Bulls should win. But I don't know, man. I don't know.
I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm going Bulls. I've been on the record about this publicly. I've enjoyed the Bulls all year long. Seeing the development in Josh Giddey and Kobe White's chemistry has been so fun to watch. And I swear to God, bro, post All-Star break, like, I will randomly like say, okay, no one's gonna watch this game. I'm gonna watch this game, and seeing the Bulls make every game a banger where it's like it's close, it's to the wire, no matter what, they're fighting hard. Like that Lakers game, Josh Giddey game winner, amazing, right? We've just seen so much from them in those spots. The thing that I'm worried about, Hayes, that kills me though, is it's like clockwork. Anytime Nikola Vucevic is on the floor in the fourth quarter, Josh Giddey be trying to get him involved in the offense so much. He be missing so much, and he bleeds so much value. Like, they're just so much better when he's not on the floor in those spots. How that plays out for a single elimination game, I don't know. But I can guarantee you it will be close, and the Bulls have been frying people, man. So I'm excited for it. I got the Bulls personally for me.
I mean, you look at the Chicago Bulls, and since the trade deadline, so since around mid-February, they are the sixth best offense in the league. They're 13th defensively. They have the 8th best net rating, somewhere around there, right? And so, like, this is a team that is like it's so different from the beginning of the season to how they finished the season. I look at the matchup against the Miami Heat specifically. Josh Giddey has averaged a triple-double. 28, 10, and 10 against the Miami Heat in 3 games this season.
Yeah.
Kobe White's averaged over 20 points, but he's done it on 39% shooting from the field, so that's a little concerning. The surprisingly enough, the X factor in this game is going to be one of 2 people. It's either going to be Manas Buzelis with his 3-point shooting ability and ability to create off the dribble, which could pull Bam out of the paint, which is really going to help Kobe and Giddey get to work, or like Gifted. I know I'm the Bulls guy, right? But like,
yeah,
the Bulls are 14-1 in games where Kevin Huerter hits 3 or more 3 points.
Yes.
That's the impact that Kevin Huerter has had for the Chicago Bulls since he's come here. So it's really going to come down to, I think because Miami's going to go to that zone. And if they go to the zone, you're going to somebody's going to have to hit 3-point shots. So it's either going to be Huerter or it's going to be Modest or maybe both of them. But they're going to need somebody other than just Josh Giddey to cook to go against the Miami Heat. But the thing I always look at in these matchups is coaching. Eric Spoelstra's still one of the best coaches in the league.
That's a fact. Yeah.
And the coaching aspect of it, I know Billy Donovan just got to the Hall of Fame. Eric Spoelstra's not there yet. He will be. But the coaching aspect of this, I definitely lean the Miami Heat. But I think this is going to end up being one of those low-scoring basketball games. I got it going like 98-104 either way. And it's just going to come down to who makes the right plays when it's needed the most.
I just know no matter, like I need people to, like, take the bull stigma out of it, because I'm telling you, when I watch random games – it didn't matter who it was. The Bulls would compete. My only thing is, like, in these moments where the game is super duper close, I'm telling you, the amount of times I'm seeing Vucevic and I'm praying, please sub him off the floor, because they bleed a insane amount of value, specifically in the fourth quarter in those moments. So to me, it's like how you match that is going to be super, super critical. Bam has also been playing way better basketball compared to the beginning of the season. So it's going to be up and down for sure. I think that game is going to be extremely competitive. Extremely.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be a really good game. All the matchups. The thing that I'm worried about too is that in the 2022-23 season, we were 3-0 against the Miami Heat. The Bulls were 3-0 against the Miami Heat. They won those games by average of almost 14 points. And they still end up getting their ass kicked in the play-in. So that just shows you how differently things can go.
It's one game.
In the play-in. Yeah, it's just one game. And that's the thing that makes it. It brings that NCAA atmosphere, because it's just one game, and anybody can get hot one game. So
I think I like the play-in. I do. But I also feel like we need to have a conversation about limiting it to where if you're the 7 or the 8 seed almost, I feel like you should be somewhat safer. At least the 7 seed. I feel like the 7 seed should be safer. I think the 8, 9, and 10 seeds should be battling for who makes the final spot, in my opinion, because there's so many good teams that are going to be near 6 or near 7 that aren't really as bad as like the 10 seed in the conference all the time. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the play-in and in-season tournament, these are 2 things I was extremely down on. And they provided some value. I think that first year the play-in was a little rough, but ever since then it's been really good. The in-season tournament was some of the best basketball early in the season that we got. So, you know, the NBA's found its thing with these little tournaments or whatnot. But I think that the thing also that we need to talk about in the Eastern Conference is like all 4 of these teams in the Eastern Conference play-in, all have been playing their best basketball since February.
Facts. Yeah, that's fair to say for sure. Yeah.
So we'll see where that takes it. Let's shift gears here to the West. The game that goes on tonight, the Memphis Grizzlies and Golden State Warriors. Who you guys got in this one?
So I just first want to say this, because we have not done this show in over a week. I kept saying I don't want to go to the play-in. I don't want to go to the play-in. I was so locked in on the Warriors last couple games. The fact that Harrison Barnes, who has been awful in some of these games for the Spurs down the stretch, gives us 20 points with a game winner to put pressure on the Warriors to have to beat the Clippers, which, by the way, if y'all missed it, rewatch that Clippers game. That was one of the best games of the season. They were battling, super competitive. Jimmy.
Curse your ass.
Bro,
Curry got 36. Curry got 36.
Yes, bro.
Draw a play for a nigga that ain't
Buddy Hield.
That ain't played the last 3. Man, fuck, he should lose his job.
No, listen, every Warriors fan was mad about that because it's like he looks at Buddy Hield, right? Like he's Klay Thompson. Because he did the same thing with Klay Thompson where it don't matter how many points Steph got, he's going to use Steph as a decoy for Klay to have this wide open shot. And he's doing that for Buddy Hield, who's been the most up and down shooter on his team the entire season, and it's not even close. Also, it's the fact that Moses Moody, a guy that they played trash players, two-way players over for multiple years, is having a very good defensive effort. He had 5 stocks in the first half, Hayes. 5. Does not play the majority of the second half. Meanwhile, I'm watching GP2, which he's good, but he's also playing through injury, getting cooked on defense down. I don't know, man. I'm sick about that. But anyway, we're in the play-in now. Now we have to beat Memphis. And I feel so sick about this. Because again, Hayes, we don't win in the play-in. And that also doesn't mean anything because it's one game. But that's the problem with the play-in. It's one game. And what I've seen in every single Warriors game, I can almost call it right now, brother. Whenever we play a team in a must-win game, some crazy non-shooter goes off. Let me give you a prime example. In the Clippers game, Chris Dunn, 3 for 3 from 3 in the first half. He shoots 20% from 3 every night. A guy like that hit 3 threes in the first half alone. So I'm expecting the fakers of shooting for the Memphis Grizzlies. Also, Ja Morant, who's been up and down all year long, has not been a top 10 point guard all year long, is playing his best basketball with a new celebration right now. So I already know for a fact this game is scheduled to be on some bullshit. We have 2 different Steph Currys we saw. The last time he played them, he had 52 points on 12 threes, almost broke the record. Right before that, he had 3 points. So it's like I don't even know what I'm gonna get. Also, Butler got hurt in the last game. Kerr said he's okay, but that could be bullshit. I don't know. It's a lot of stress.
They said it was a growing injury. I don't like growing. I
don't like hearing that.
I don't like hearing those. I've played a lot of sports, bro. Played football at a very high level. I've never heard of a growing injury that's not that bad. Even you strain that shit just a little bit, bro.
You feel it, bro.
You feel it. So I don't know.
I don't know. I'm going with the Warriors because it's my team. I'm not going to act like I want to just know. Like, I'm heavily invested. I want the Warriors to win. I do think they've been the better team than Memphis for some time, but I don't know. I truly do not know because they don't like us. The games are super physical. It's always some bullshit going on. I need Draymond to lock in on the process and the vision. Are we going to make threes? I got questions, but I'm going with the Warriors tonight. If you say Memphis, I hear you. I really do.
This is a game where I had to come down to, I love the Memphis Grizzlies. Let me be clear. The Memphis Grizzlies are probably one of the teams that I watch the most on League Pass, right? Because I love Ja Morant. He's one of my favorite players to watch in this league. But the Memphis Grizzlies have had a disappointing season. Disappointing because Ja hasn't quite been Ja this season. Disappointing because Desmond Bane, JJJ, and Ja on the court together were special. That's the thing. That's the special sauce for this team. They haven't necessarily been as special as consistently as we've seen in the past. They've never really been able to recapture that magic consistently in this season. Now, maybe that'll come back in seasons as well. Another thing I look at that's really major in this is, can they win the Zach Edey minutes? Because I tell you what, Zach Edey is a unique player that can play, and he's better than what I was expecting him to come in here with. But you can easily see Zach Edey being one of those players that he just can't be played in certain matchups, in certain quarters, depending on what the lineup of the other team is out there. And I look at this Golden State Warriors team, and I look at Dre frustrating them, right? I look at what Steph and Jimmy have done on playoff runs before. And so it's one of those things where I'm looking at like, I want to pick the Memphis Grizzlies, but for some reason, I just think regardless of what their playing record is, that the Warriors are going to be really motivated to get this done. Coaching, all that type of thing. The Grizzlies also fired their coach. Now they've been running. Their offense has been, I would say, better since Taylor Hendricks was fired, kind of more seamless. But all the things going in, I'm picking the Golden State Warriors here personally. So, it's a long-ass winded way to say it, but I got the Warriors here.
I just wish you was not in this goddamn position, bro. I hate being in the play-in. I would I was not listen. I'm not afraid to play any team in the Western Conference. I think this team has shown that they're ceiling. They can be better than these teams, but they have to show it. And I have not liked how we've lost must-win games to close out the season. It's just a tough look, but I'm here for it. I will be watching it. We'll see exactly what is able to unfold from this overall situation. But at least with this, if they're able to win and they play Houston, which is an interesting matchup, if they're able to beat them, they don't have to play OKC into the conference finals, which to me, I still think OKC is probably going to the finals. So as long as they're able to put themselves in a position to stay away from OKC, at least into the conference finals, I'm not complaining, but I'm not looking past any of that. We got to get past this game. I've been let down by this team way too many times in a single game elimination type of mode where I'm not trusting anything. We got to earn this win. We got to go get this win.
Yeah. We'll see what happens there.
Yeah,
we'll see. Kings Mavericks. How you guys feeling about this one, man?
Ooh, that is a 2B game if I ever seen it. I'm locked in for it though. I like 2B. For me personally, man, Dallas was very fun to watch in the Luka game. I know a lot of people focused on Luka and how good he was, but there was a moment where they clearly didn't have the talent or the bodies, and they were competing. Najee Marshall been filling up his bag all year long. You know what I'm saying? AD's back as well. So there's some cool things to see with that, but I don't know who wins because the Kings have looked like a mess. They don't really look like a really composed team, but at the same time, Zach LaVine is still a hooper, right? We know DeMar DeRozan is a playing vet. So I don't know.
Bama?
It's Sacramento. Sabonis coming back, right? Sabonis will play, right?
I think she should be playing though.
Yeah, Sabonis. Yeah, Sabonis playing. Huh?
Are you saying that on purpose? Sabonis? You call it?
Yeah, Sabonis. Yeah, I don't call him Sabonis.
I'm just making sure. I'm like, wait a second. Did I hear that? The first time you said it, I'm like, I'm tripping.
I'm tripping, right? Yeah.
You know they call that boy Sabonis? Yeah, no. Sabonis, man.
They call him Sabonis.
Yeah.
Who do that?
A lot of people.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Indeed.
But I don't know, man. How y'all be feeling about Zion if he can stand? That's how I feel about AD. AD a beast when he playing. But he had them moments where he pulled that Peter Griffin. Nobody touched him.
Not the Peter
just
Griffin.
On the ground.
Oh,
no. You just like, oh my, here we go again, bro. Like, but I think they got all the pieces. I mean, they haven't played good, but I just sometimes myself personally, I just think, bro, when you got all the pieces that make sense, it should make sense.
Right.
So I'm hoping they able to rally up down low on the defensive end, give AD some trouble. I don't know who else they got, who else the Mavericks really have, because they traded their best wing player, which is crazy. So I gotta go Sacramento unless AD is an AD. I'll give you that because he could be.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't no hater. AD could go out and get 30, 20, 5 blocks. It's plausible. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
I think that Dallas defense is legitimate, man. They've been playing really solid locked in defense. It's just you're going up against a Kings team that ironically is technically considered a high powered offense. So who's gonna win out? One game.
That's the thing in all of this, right? Like, because like I'm trying my best not to fight it and give it like a playoff analysis because it's just one game, right? And so, like, just like any given day in the NBA, any team can win on any given night, and that the same in the play. And it really comes down to who can get hot at the right moment. That's why, like you hear like Gifted say he wanted to avoid the play-in, right? That's part of the reason why, because
I want to be there, bro.
Any given night that could be that. This is a Sacramento Kings team that reminds me so much of the Chicago Bulls from last year in a lot of different ways, right? Like, but mainly because they have so many of the same pieces as well. But I always look at a case like this, like DeMar always has the chance to go absolutely off, right? We know that. Zach LaVine has the chance to always go absolutely off. The problem with it is those players also have chances to be absolute cones on defense, right? 100%. That's part of the problem here, right? And then you add Sabonis in that as well, who, if you're talking about a knock on Sabonis, the biggest thing is his defense, right? He's completely solid offensively. So
but who on the wing gonna really stop them? On the Mavericks, honestly. Who's gonna take advantage? Who's really gonna take advantage to make them come?
See,
Max Christie?
This is exactly Bama. This is exactly what I was gonna say. Because Hayes, I agree with you, but then it comes down to, is they guard play really hidden like that to take advantage of their bad defense? That becomes the question. Do you have enough offense? Like, their main guy at this point is really Najee Marshall as like their guy outside of AD. But the paint defense is immaculate though. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have a very good paint. They're a big team. They're a very big team.
Here's the thing. And again, this is me. I admit, right? This is me projecting what they did on the Bulls to this team, and it could be very different. But go and look up Clay against DeMar and against Zach LaVine.
Oh, I remember it. I remember it vividly.
I'm just saying, it's one game. Can we have retro Clay for one game? And if that happens, what then does that look like?
Exactly. That's fair too. What? But see, this is why I don't fuck with the. This is why I don't want to be in the play-in, because all you need is some fake shooting game from the most like random person. Oh shit! Like, here comes, like, nah, I'm not trying to deal with that. But that's what could happen in one game. Tough.
It is very tough. I guess I got to make a prediction here though. Fuck it, I'm going Kings. I think the Kings do end up winning.
Okay.
I think the Kings do end up winning this one. So, but yeah, so that means we have. Well, it wasn't unanimous in any of these cases, so it is what it is there. But we'll see what the playoffs hold there. You guys want to talk about possible upsets from the series that we do know? How you guys feel about
Yes, I do. These playoff series are so fire to me too. By the way, the Western Conference got some good first round matchups, man. Some really good ones.
Yeah, for sure. Let's talk about it. Lakers Timberwolves. How you guys feeling there? The 3-6 matchup in the West.
Oh my God. So the drama about this series on Twitter has been hilarious. I know Bama trying to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Lakers in 5.
Lakers in 5.
I know, right. I find this discourse so funny because I had a tweet because there was I believe a Wolves fan who was saying, yeah, I can't wait until Ant sees Luka, Austin Reeves, and all of these other cones. It's going to be so easy. Then I quoted and said, they're going to double the shit out of Ant and make Julius Randle a decision maker for most of the series. Good luck, right? And the amount of Wolves fans that got on me upset. Like there was a Wolves fan who said, why do people act like JJ Redick invented the art of double teams? When did I ever act like he was some Hall of Fame? Like, doubling isn't a new concept. That's actually why I made the tweet, because that's what's going to happen. But I will say this though, Hayes, independent of that, there's some similarities to the Sun series last year. If I'm being honest, in the scope of the center position lacking, right? Like the rebounding advantage they're going to have, the defensive wing advantage they're going to have, right? The depth, they're going to have that. They have all of that over the Lakers. The difference though, and this is why it's not a perfect one-to-one to me, Hayes, is the Suns did not have an elite playmaker in Luka or LeBron. They didn't have that. Right. We saw what Luka did to them last year, but at the same time, I don't know how many people really watched that series. Gobert was effective. It's just Luka was like that, so it was tough.
Yeah.
Right. But here's the difference. Luka had Kyrie with him exploding offensively as well as a scorer. I trust LeBron. He just got hurt in his last game. And more importantly, to explode consistently at that same level, I don't know if he's going to attack it in the same way. So to me, it's like I think the Wolves are going to probably win this series. I know I'm not in the loud majority of people, but this is the one series where Julius Randle, when I'm looking at the matchups he's going to have defensively, he should be able to look like a productive player. Now, I don't believe in this nigga in any way, shape, or form, but this is the one situation where he should look good. So I feel like basketball-wise, I'm going to trust it, even though I don't trust him as a player at all based on his past. So right now, that's where I'm at.
Bam?
Lakers in 5.
I knew Bam was going to say that. I knew.
This is going to be a fun matchup because I think like the thing that I always look at this as is as a default, right? It's not like it's the end all be all, but it's a good conversation starter. Which player has the better chance of being the best player in this series, right? Mm-hmm. Is it AD? I'm sorry, not AD. Is it Ant or is it Luka, right? I think that's what it comes down to. And when you look at Luka and what his history is against the Minnesota Timberwolves, it's a really good reason to believe that could be Luka. We add in the things of like LeBron and Austin Reeves and how they've been playing, and that adds to all this as well. The one concern that I do have in this is that when Luka, LeBron, and Austin Reeves are on the court, the Lakers still have a negative net rating when those three guys are on the court. That's their best three players.
Yeah.
That's the concern about this here, right? Like they've all played individually really good. If you look at their numbers since Luka got traded there, all their individual numbers are really good. But there's something about when they're on the court together, they're still not quite statistically getting to where it needs to be. Now, numbers aren't advanced analytics aren't the end all be all. Sometimes it just comes down to just the basketball aspect of it. You figure out the rest later. But I don't think this is going to be as easy as some people are thinking for the Los Angeles Lakers. The Timberwolves as well have played their best basketball here to end the season. Can they keep it up? The thing that I have to question here is whose defensive floor is higher? And I think that the Minnesota Timberwolves defensive floor is higher. I'll pick the Timberwolves here.
Now listen, I'm going to say his name right now. Okay, Hayes? Because what a lot of people are going to do is they're going to focus on Gobert and look at Luka making him dance. What I hate about this player that gets bailed that I'm looking at in this series, Jaden McDaniels is getting his shit cooked the entire series because Luka will put him in jail and throw the lob, right? That was happening consistently over and over and over for that entire series where he was making Gobert have to make a decision repeatedly because him as a POA was getting abused, bullied, and bothered. My thing that's way harder to me is that Mavericks team had better spacers. They just did, right? They had more guys off the dribble who could operate and get to quick shots. I think this Wolves team just has more size and more physicality than this Laker team does. So I don't know. I'm leaning Wolves, but like mentally, it's hard for me to trust one of the worst playoff droppers to have his best series of his career. Because unequivocally, if the Wolves win this series, Julius Randle to me would have to have a good series. And I think he's most equipped to do it in this series. I really do.
Okay.
I think I know what the point what you made with all three AD, I mean not AD, but Luka, Bron, and Austin Reeves being on the court at the same time. But from what I saw, from what I felt like what was going on was them trying to figure out how to get Austin Reeves comfortable with being with LeBron and Luka at the same time. A player of his caliber, I still feel like Austin Reeves was still coming into who he was, right? He was still figuring it out with LeBron and AD. So now you shift off of that to two guys LeBron's been playing more off ball, but now you shift off of that to a guy that's more ball dominant like you. So I feel like a lot of it is just you figuring out, hey man, this is where you're gonna have to be. These is his spots. This is just for the playoffs. You know what I mean? I feel like it's all gonna come around. Like what somebody keeps saying in the chat. I think it's mid. We got mid defense, but I think now in the playoffs, because y'all know some teams like they'll be mid, and then when the playoffs roll around, it's just a whole different story. It's just
that's true.
Condensed. It's more half. It's a better pace. I think LeBron, he's gonna be ready for it. The late injury, like I said, these injuries do concern me because I know in pro sports it's nothing like amateur sports. Those guys actually really do be hurt, and then they be playing through the shit.
Right.
Like, that's what really scared me about pro sports. So I always think like, how to what extent are these guys healthy? But I think the playoffs, LeBron in the playoffs, bro. We ain't gotta play crazy. Like this is his realm. You know what I mean? The pace of it, everything. I don't know, man. It's gonna be hard for them boys to win. If Ant win, fuck it, bro. He got it.
I just think when I look at all of the second chance points and all of the other intangibles, a lot of the edge goes to Minnesota. And again, I'm sorry, but last year I said the same thing about the Sun series, independent of who the talent was, and that wound up to their offense looking even better because they just got easier looks more consistently. Now the difference, though, again, which is why it's hard for me to be confident in either team, is down the stretch. I feel like the crunch time offense for the Wolves struggles against the zone. I know the Lakers are going to run the zone, and I expect Luka and LeBron down the stretch in terms of operating offense to just be real surgical. Now, my only thing is, if Finch goes back to what he did in the Sun series and says, you know what, we're not sending help. Luka Doncic, you want to have 60 points? Go get them goddamn 60 points. We're not helping off no shooters. We're going to guard you straight up, right? If they do that, you're then taking away the advantage that is created from Luka and LeBron, and you're making them have to kill you every single possession. And that comes down to a math battle, right? The Wolves are also the better three-point shooting team. So if they're getting more boards, if they have a better defense, and they're shooting more threes than you, they can win the math battle to physically beat you in the series. I really do believe that. So that's why it's harder for me, but that's why right now I'm currently leaning Minnesota for me.
All right. Next series in the West that we know of so far, Nuggets, Clippers. That's the 4-5 matchup. This is going to be a good series. And listen, the Clippers have been solid all year long. Make no mistake about it. But with Kawhi looking like he's healthy, and then we still don't know if Jamal Murray, I think Jamal Murray's not going to be 100% healthy any of this playoff series. That evens things a lot. Make no mistake about it. Jokic is the best player in the world, right? But the Clippers and the defense that they've been playing with, on top of just the edge that they play with, especially when Kawhi's in this is going to be a fun series to watch. How you guys feeling?
Man.
If this is the Kawhi I've been seeing, if that nigga goes over there to the playoffs, they finna sweep the Nuggets. Not only are they gonna sweep the Nuggets, they might end up in the finals. I hate to say it, bro. I as a Lakers fan, I even hate to say that about the Clippers, but I don't know what that nigga's really the Terminator, bro.
He been crazy, bro.
He is insane, bro. Kawhi's
very good at ball, bro. Yeah,
he one of the greatest players in this era, bro. I know he is injured or prone a lot, and that's just crazy to say because his longevity really ain't there, bro. But I'm sorry, dog. If you just gotta go best for best, bro, he one of the greatest players I've seen in this era, bro. Like
for
seriously,
sure.
Like I didn't know this, bro. I thought the last time I know no bullshit. The last time I remember Kawhi, he was massaging his knee on the sideline. And he was talking about he had degenerative knees.
Yeah,
that was like my last time, like remembering Kawhi. I turn the TV on, I see him
dancing with the ball. Yes,
I turned the TV off, turned it back on, and I'm like, whoa. I was like, oh, he not hurt, and I was like,
he got a bag.
I was like, maybe he got to come out. Maybe he gonna get tired. I'm like, whoa, he really playing valuable minutes right now. Oh wow, yeah. Once I saw that, bro, I hate it. This Clippers scare me, bro. I'm not even gonna lie. As a Lakers fan, them niggas scare me, bro. I don't want to see them at all whatsoever, bro.
I got to get the Clippers a ton of credit, man. When Kawhi went down, I felt like I think the Clippers can tread water, but I'm not entirely sure. And then Zubac stepped up, right? And then Powell, he stepped up. And they brought time. And then once Kawhi got all the season to rest and come back, he's been on fire. Like walking 27 bombs, 30 bombs. And also, we have multiple games against elite competition with Kawhi in a lineup where the Clippers match the eye test. They look phenomenal versus the Golden State Warriors, right? They look phenomenal when they played OKC back when Shea had a very bad game, right? Like they look like a problem. So when I'm bringing that to Denver, I'm sorry, they're a better team. They just are to me. Like I just think that I've seen more from the Clippers this season to make me buy into their stock. And more importantly, the fact that we haven't seen Kawhi and they've still been this good is a good thing for them. Right now, I think both benches aren't that great. I think that's fair to say. But my biggest problem, independent of Kawhi, James Harden. And I say that because what does James Harden like to do, Hayes? Mismatch hunt in the pick and roll. They are going to abuse the shit out of Jokic in this pick and roll for the entire series. And I know that's like the casual take. They're going to do this and that, rah, woo, woo. But at the end of the day, that's what he likes to do. And what I see for Zubac, this is not the same Zubac from multiple years ago that was getting destroyed by Jokic. Oh, like this is a Zubac that, yes, Jokic will score, right? He will have his moments, he'll have his points. This Zubac, though, is going to be more productive than that older form of Zubac. And then again, if you have Kawhi Leonard, they have no cover for it. Like they're just in a very tough spot where they have a high-powered offense, yes, but their defense has not looked good. I have not liked the way Denver's defense has looked all year long. And then you're going up against a team that's good on both ends. And they shoot more threes than you. I'm sorry, but I'm going to say this again. The math battle matters. If they're shooting more threes than you, they have a better defense. They have a go-to wing and point guard scorer. Both can get to the free throw line. It's going to be a long series, especially if I don't even know if Jamal is healthy or not. So me personally, I got the Clippers.
Yeah, it's hard to pick the Nuggets in this one again. Like much like with the Grizzlies, like change the coach, which could end up working out for them. I mean, it's fine. Like Alderman's one of the most heralded assistants in the league. Like he was going to get a head coaching job probably this summer, regardless. But I think you like everything that the Clippers have been doing this year, and the solid play on both sides of the ball, and the way that James Harden and Kawhi Leonard have figured out their chemistry. I gotta pick the Clippers here, man.
James Harden in shape. Have y'all saw him?
He's in really good shape.
He's in really
good shape. Yes.
When I saw that, and I saw
really
Kawhi Leonard snatching and pulling up, I said, "Bro, these niggas have bamboozled everybody." I was like, y'all sly dogs. Y'all think y'all slick. Y'all did it. I ain't gonna lie, y'all did it because nobody was thinking this. I saw James Harden with a little baby out of Paris. All it is, bro, eating barbecue. Now I was like, bro, I know this is not James Harden, bro. Like this, I was like, this
he's hooping
in shape.
He's hooping.
Kawhi, I don't know if it's Kawhi that got in his ear and said, "Let's go," because Kawhi is pretty blunt, bro. Like same thing, like how he did with Kyle Lowry. He said, "I know you sad about your little friend, but he said we're here to win the championship. Let's go." Like I was like, damn, bro. Like so, I'm pretty sure Kawhi kind of put that battery in James Harden, dog. This team's scared, bro.
Especially when, like, if you blitz Harden, how quick he gets the ball to Zubac for that dunk and how automatic 2 points it feel like. Like, I could just see the way they would exploit Denver's defense so clearly in my face right now, man. We still got to see him do it, but the best part about this matchup to me, Hayes, is whoever wins this plays OKC in the very next round.
Yep. Let's go over to the East, man.
Let's do it.
The 3-6 matchup there, the Knicks and the Pistons. I'm gonna take this one. I got the Pistons in the upset. Pistons.
Okay, Hayes, talk to me. Okay.
Listen, here's what I got to tell you guys. The New York Knicks defense is absolute trash, as we know. But go back and look at when the Pistons played against the Knicks, and look at how Cade Cunningham specifically hunts out Jalen Brunson every single time. Brunson can do nothing with Cade Cunningham. This is going to be a star-making playoff run for Cade Cunningham. I don't know how far they make it past the first round, but I'm telling you what, right now, mark my words, listen to what I say, Pistons in 6. That's what I got to say on that.
Cook.
I'm from Detroit, Hayes, as you will know.
Where your bub said?
I want you to know I have tickets. I have good seats. I will be in the building for these Knicks games. I think the Knicks have to be favored. And I say this mainly because the lack of offensive talent consistently to show up for the Pistons has been a problem for them for a lot of the season, even earlier on in the season when Cade was hooping. Like, is Tobias Harris going to be consistent? Is Malik Beasley, as good of a shooter as he been, is that going to regress to what we know him to be when you have a playoff defense scouted for him? Because, yes, I think the Knicks are a trash defense, but we also know Tom Thibodeau is one of the most dialed-in coaches when it comes down to that and in the playoffs, right? And I just feel like the amount of mismatches, like the biggest player for me in this series is Cat. Because Karl-Anthony Towns, the mismatches he'll be able to have in this series as a play finisher, if he's doing what I know him to be able to do, they can beat the Pistons. But the reason why we don't know is the one thing I know that will travel is defense. The Pistons are the better defensive team. They've shown that all year long. This could also be a coming out party for Asor Thompson, who's been a phenomenal defender for Detroit when he's been given the opportunity. I just don't know if I can trust the Pistons to win their first playoff series because, A, they've exceeded all expectations, and they're a super young team. This would be one of the biggest wins for their confidence level. What's good is Jaden Ivey is coming back to the team, so that's huge. I don't know. I still haven't called that series yet, but to Hayes' point, in the regular season, they dog walk them routinely. And my biggest thing is it's not the result, because I don't care too much about the win or loss. It's the way it looked. Cade looked so comfortable playing against this Knicks defense. So I think this could absolutely be a coming out party for Cade. I'm excited, and I will be in attendance. Go Pistons, man. I'm in the building for that, for sure.
You know, deep down, I want the Pistons to win, but I'm going to let you know, it's strictly business. The New York Knicks better figure out a way to get it done. They move up off of Randall. They get Cat.
You got to win the series.
They got to win the series. I don't want to hear about, they got the best defense. They get OG Anunoby. They trade some more key pieces for
7 first-round picks.
What's my other boy that fucked his jumper up?
Mikal Bridges.
Mikal Bridges, bro. Like
7 picks,
man. Like I feel y'all. I'm in agreement. I love Cade. I think Cade a dog. I think this whole channel, Players' Choice in general, is high on Cade. I think he's a fucking dog, bro. Seriously, since Oklahoma State. But I'm just thinking, well, what the Knicks did to acquire this spot where they was just at, they better not let the Pistons beat them. I'm gonna probably say, for real though, I'm gonna probably say Knicks in 6. Seriously, like, yeah. Because
I think this could be a 7-game series too.
It could be. Don't get me wrong. It could be, but I think the Knicks really got to bring their suitcase. Like, they really got to come to work. They really got to come to work. Like, it's no bullshit and it's no nothing. Once they got them down, they need to go ahead get them up out of here. Like
I mean, that's why Cat to me has to be the X factor, because again, like, I'm with Hayes in the sense of like, I can see the Pistons winning the series. I can, but if Cat is just going to be a liability, and if he's not the same level of offensive player I've seen him be this year, if he can be really good in this series, I think the Knicks win it. I really do.
We'll see. Let's get
for sure.
Let's get to the next one in the East. The 4-5 matchup, Pacers Bucks. How you guys feeling here?
Oh man, I'm here for this one. I got Pacers. This should be really no surprise. I think the Pacers have looked good this season. They started out slow. I can agree with that. But once Tyrese got healthy, bro, post All-Star Tyrese has been performing at an All-NBA first-team level. I'm confident in that. He has not been making mistakes with the ball. More importantly, this Bucks defense is old. They're relying on a bunch of players that weren't getting heavy rotation minutes at the beginning of their season. We don't know the status of Damian Lillard. It feels like this has to be a Giannis Herculean effort to win. We still have Doc Rivers coaching in the playoffs, what that automatically turns into. I just think this Pacers team last year, they were the number 1 half-court offense and the number 1 offense in the NBA in the playoffs. I think they're not going to be too far from that, and I just think they have many different weaker links they can target even more now this year. So I'm leaning Pacers, probably 6. It could go 7 if Dame is available, but I don't want to put my money on a team that I'm just not sure if their second best player is going to play or not. Give me the Pacers.
I know it seemed like the Pacers, man, but I don't know, man. something tell me, bro, Bucks might really do it, man. They got KPJ over there. I didn't even know they snuck him on the roster, bro. It was somebody else I saw they snuck on the roster too. I don't know, bro. It's hard for me to go against Giannis. Giannis, one of them generational talents. I really feel like he can go on a nice little run, man. I think he could, bro. This is Giannis time, bro. I think he go on one of them LeBron runs, like 2018 runs. One of them runs where he can get his team there. I ain't saying they finna win it, but I think to get them past this right here, I think Giannis get them past. I think Giannis get them past the Pacers, bro. I ain't buying Halliburton, bro. I like Hallie cool, bro, but I don't know.
He gonna see Brook
They got
Lopez
a team though. I'm
not
gonna lie, bro. They got a team. I forgot about Siakam, bro. It's gonna be annoying, bro. But I just think I think I gotta go Giannis, bro.
If the Bucks don't win that, I think they blowing this shit up to me.
That's definitely a possibility. You're definitely not wrong with that being a possibility. I do think, looking at this, the Bucks have been so much better defensively, right? Over the last 15, 20 games of the season. Yeah. But it's how much do you trust it? Right? That's the big question in all this is, well, how much are you going to trust that in a playoff series? And let me be clear, it's not like Tyrese Halliburton has not disappeared in playoff series before, too. So you got both on both sides. Can you trust Halliburton? Can you trust the Milwaukee Bucks?
It's a healthy series this year, though.
Yeah,
he's healthy this year. So
he's
for now, for me,
so that's gonna be a big part in it.
Ain't no excuse for Tyrese Halliburton for me this year. Because last year I'm like, all right, he's not healthy. Right now, Siakam the best player. Cool, I can understand. Now that I know he's healthy, I feel like the lens that I evaluate him on, if he's able to stay there, can be a valid one. Because again, I was hard on him. I said Chris Paul was outplaying him at the beginning of the year because he was. Tyrese had a very bad start. But post All-Star break, the more and more I cut on the Pacers, because ironically, Hayes, I needed them to beat certain teams in the West, and they were dog walking them. I'm like, okay, he's back. So we're gonna see. This is the real first playoff test for me for a Halliburton this year, and I think there's no better test than a top 3 player in this league in Giannis. So should be fun to watch.
This is gonna be probably, if I had to bet on any of these series in the first round, going 7 games, this may be the one. This may be the one. And not to say that the other ones can't, but this would be the one that I would bet on going 7 games, because I think this is going to be a matchup of who's better each night, and it can go back and forth. We know Dame's not playing; he's not going to play in this. I think they announced that officially today.
Oh, they did? I missed that.
Yeah, he's not cleared to play, so they're not expecting him to come back in this series at all.
Oh, still with the blood clots?
Yeah. So that's something that plays a part into this as well. And here's the thing. The Pacers have more depth that I trust, right? But let's not act like the Milwaukee Bucks have not had some players that I've kind of counted out defensively that really stepped up for them this game. Bobby Portis has come on the last last handful of games too. He's looking good again. So if I had to pick this one, I'm gonna trust the best overall talent, Giannis, in this one, right? But I wouldn't be surprised if the Pacers win this series either. I wouldn't be surprised with it.
Okay.
So
fair.
Yeah, but this is shaping up to be a really fun play-in and opening rounds. Does anybody have, before we get out of here, is there any chance, or what percentage are you giving it, that either of the top 2 seeds get upset in the first round of the playoffs this year in either conference?
East is 0% for me. Yeah. I can't see the Cavs or Boston losing. Western Conference, there's no way OKC loses. Houston is gettable. It depends on the matchup, right?
Okay.
But I think Houston can beat Memphis or the Warriors. I actually do believe that. But I think they're just a younger team, so they're more gettable than those other 3 teams, in my opinion.
Damn.
Houston could beat them teams, but like I said, if they match up with any one of them teams, it's the Rockets 1,000%. They're the most acceptable to get popped in the first round, bro.
Yeah.
You don't know what Jalen Green you're gonna get. Really, do they have another number 2 scorer, consistent number 2 scorer? I love him, Amin Thompson, bro, but I mean, do you really just think him in his first year or first or second year is just gonna elevate you to win a whole 7-game series? I doubt it, dog. But like I said, they're a great team. They play real together. They got good young legs. They're gonna push the pace. It's gonna be hard to get up and down the court with them. But I just think when it comes down to the playoffs, where those possessions are very hard to come by, you're gonna need some experience to be able to push that pace up in the playoffs. I just think the Rockets are one of those teams that might get popped the first round, man.
The one thing
the Warriors can pop OKC.
They can. And like, I don't think that's crazy. I just think the more than likely reality is they would beat the Warriors, but the Warriors have been a pretty good matchup for them all year long. So them being able to beat OKC isn't really surprising to me as a theory, even though I do think they are the better talented team. The one thing I want to say real quick about Houston is a lot of people always harping on down the stretch who's going to be consistent offensively. I think that matters. But what the Rockets have been all year long, the reason why they are the 2 seed is despite having such a trash offense, they get these second chance points. And if you don't score, you're not getting the board. So now it's like, how do you keep up with that? Like you got to really outclass them consistently to beat them. And it's very doable because, again, they are a young team, but they also have none to lose. A young team that has nothing to lose that's been that good, that's well coached, can be a problem. So I'll give them their respect. But out of the crop of seeds that are there, they are the most gettable 2 seed in the league to me.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that the inexperience plays a huge part in that, right? And it seems like either any team that they face is going to be way more experienced than they are in the postseason. But I just look at this Rockets team, and their defensive ceiling is what has me so confident in them being able to avoid being upset at least in the first round. Don't know how far they're going to go after that, but it really depends on the matchup and how that team that they're matched up against, how the momentum builds in that series. So we'll see what happens there.
True.
So
yeah, I'm excited, man. We got some real important playoff hoops that are on the way. I can't wait to really continue watching film on these teams and try to predict what's going to happen. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I think we got some really good series coming up.
For sure. It's going to be a fun playoff series. It's going to be a fun playing tournament. Fellas, any last thoughts before we get up out of here? The games start in 6 minutes. We're about to be watching basketball.
6 minutes, bro. Ooh, I can't wait, man. I'm here for the hoops. We'll be back next week, which by that point, the play-in should be wrapped up, and I believe the first series starts on Sunday. So we should be able to come back to y'all with some game 1 reactions, which should be fun.
Anything, Bam?
Ready for some good basketball, man. See some.
Did you already take the honey pack, Bam?
I just be chilling, bro. I told y'all it don't have the same effects on me as it do y'all. It made me just chill out.
That brother
help
is
me
cooked,
zone
man.
in. You feel me? I be over
He's
here
so
chilling.
far gone, bro. It's crazy, bro.
Hey, bro, do not stand up, bro.
like I always say, doing a honey pack before chilling with your boys talking basketball
is crazy.
Wild, bro.
That boy's excited about these DHOs. Hell
yeah.
No.
Hey, man, we got some good hoops coming up, man. Some real good, meaningful games. Meaningful basketball is here.
That's a fact. That's a fact, man. We appreciate y'all for tuning in with us. From the Logo is available every Tuesday at 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you guys tap in with us. Maybe going into next season, we get back to 2 days a week. We'll see what happens there. Thank you guys for tuning in. Y'all go support Gifted at Gifted Hoops. Bam, I'm sorry. I just got to get this stuff memorized. Just Bama TV. I always forget.
I talk some football every Sunday, man. We got a new cast member, man. Former NFL Titans cornerback Dante Marsh.
Dope.
He wanted to join my podcast. OG, man. We come up there. We'll be talking about Colorado retiring Shador and Travis Hunter jerseys. He give his spins on it. So pull up this Sunday again, 11 p.m. EST. We'll be up there if y'all want to hear some good football talk.
Yeah.
Ken, you better chill out, bro. We already know your mama called the Glizzy Gladiator. But we'll see y'all next Tuesday, man. Love you guys.